this video is about these touch plates. They're all falling through. Which they give you in this cassette case, which I don't think is the best case in the world. But anyway, these touch plates, and they're probably, they are a fantastic modulation source, because essentially you just touch them, and you can use your own sort of flesh and so on as a modulation source. And if you've seen the other video, you will have seen that sometimes sort of touching 2 or 3 touch plates at the same time. So there's a touch plate over here in maths. So have a look at that one. There's another one which is just slightly off screen, which you can't quite see, maybe, which is going into the Music Thing Modular Startup. Now the Startup isn't being used for other than for routing signals out, which are like here. What I am using is the clock here that's coming out of the divide multiply slot here, and then using this, because basically the clock coming out of here will then travel through my body, and wherever I touch it will then be heard. So when I touch the plate over here on maths, you get a single sort of burst of modulation source, which triggers channel 1 of maths, and if I hold on to it, it goes into a loop. But then if you add the clock in, this changes now, this looping function, as if it's being triggered in a sort of a time sort of cycle mode. Take it off. Now with the Music Thing Modular, you can, if you hold on the button here, it halves every time it divides the clock pulse. So you can hear now it's changing a bit more. There we go. And if you tap it quickly, it multiplies it. Here's a much faster one. So around about here seems to be okay. Take it off, and then maths cycles around based on this looping function. Now I also have a third one, which is here, which is on Piques, which is running Dead Man's Catch, though I must admit I'm just on the first envelope pattern. So here Piques is being used as an envelope, the bottom pair of attack release or attack decay. So what you have is that when you touch it, you get the first onset, the attack. You can hear it just moving up. Forgive me. Let me open up the filter. Not quite hearing that as much. Let's just turn it up there. You can hear it just moving the sound around, and then when you release it, you then trigger the final phase. Right, so you got attack, hold. So for as long as I hold it, it stays at that peak level, and then release. What you can also do, if you've seen the other video, you can also have them in pairs. There we go. 2 hands. And let it go. And then we can also have the clock. So the clock tends to work really well with maths because of maths envelope function. I should mention as well, with landscapes, these little touch plates, you can buy them as a DIY kind of kit, or you can buy them pre-built. So I thought what I would do here is sort of try and unravel some of the patch that I have here. Now what I'm using for the oscillator source is basically the Buchla, which is here, or the Tiptop audio kind of version of the Buchla, and just taking this pair of outputs here. One of these is going to the DVCA, which is here, and the other one is going directly into the Chronoblob, and then the Chronoblob is going out here, and the DVCA is going out here. So that's kind of the illusion of the stereo. So I'm going through the delay to kind of create a delay to one side of the dual mono kind of output. The send and returns of the Chronoblob are then patched into the ST Modular EFI filter. And that's basically what I've got there. So this DVCA is open and closed here by using channel 4 of maths. Okay, so you can hear that now that I've put maths into cycle mode on channel 4. You can hear the cumulative effect of the two sides. So you've got the delay on your left, at least if I've got the stereo the right way around here, delay on the left and the original channel on the right. And you can hear the effect of the filter. Let me change that delay time. Take the repeat off, so you can hear that. So this kind of pseudo stereo is made via taking. It's one of the advantages, I suppose, of the Tiptop Buchla module. You get these two outputs. So one you can pretty much treat as is, and the other one a little bit of processing. And the Chronoblob is fantastic with its send and returns and patching the delay in there. Let me put a bit more repeat. That's what we have there. Now the thing is that channel 4 of maths is not set into cycle. Channel 4 of maths gets its trigger from channel 1. And for those of you that were observant or have been observant, channel 1 only opens if I touch the touch plate, right? There we go. The way that I use the touch plate here is I put it into channel 2 and I take the output from channel 2 and plug that into the trigger input of channel 1. And then I use the attenuator to essentially boost the signal as up as possible, as far up as possible, so that it can be used as a trigger source. So if I bring the attenuator down for channel 2, you can see that's now attenuating the trigger signal, and now it's inverting it the other way round, bringing it back round. So the function, so the speed with which the trigger is being sent to channel 4 is affected by the rise and fall of channel 1, and there we go. So we can alter everything by changing channel 4. And then changing channel 1. Because channel 1 is more, it's based on an attack. It sends a trigger at the end of rise, let's say. Not attack. So by speeding up the attack, changes the frequency of triggers being sent to channel 4. So we could have a slow rise on channel 1 and a fast attack on channel 4. Let me bring the trigger up. So you can hear the effect there of a quite fast rise on channel 1, but a slow rise on channel 4, and the different kinds of trigger. And the effect that has on the filter, opening and closing. Now, one of the other things that I've also got going on here, and this is where I have to let go, is that the sync for the Chronoblob, for the delay, is timed to the pulse output, the end of fall, or the end of cycle, from maths. So when it's intermittent, like I just touch it once, it has very little effect. But when you have it cycling, it has some effect. I'll put the clock back in. So if we make this slower, you can hear the effect on the delay. There's a moment whilst the delay sort of changes. Let me change those. So now you can hear the artifacts of the delay. It's like cycling around. When you touch the plate here in maths that's in channel 2 feeds into the trigger for channel 1. Channel 1's trigger, when it goes to the end of attack or end of rise, triggers channel 4. The trigger output of maths channel 4, when it completes its full cycle, goes into sync. And when this is moving around rapidly, it obviously sort of changes the delay, as you can hear. So we can hear that when I have the Chronoblob set so that you can hear the artifacts when you fiddle around with the delay time. I'll turn those off because I kind of like it sort of clean like that. Channel 1's output goes into the wave shaping for the top oscillator. So if you remember, the top oscillator is the one that we're basically generating the sound from. So that basically controls the wave shaping from sine wave to sawtooth. And we control that here with the attenuverter. So that's set on full. It's a bit more difficult to hear. Let me turn the filter down. There we go. So this is it without the... Let me try and open this one up. There we go. So that's the wave shaping. As you can hear, it's being modulated quite a lot. Let me put channel 1 in. Oh, it's because I'm touching another cable. See, this is the thing you have to be really mindful of, is that when you touch another source, the reason why there's no signal is because I'm touching another source, like a cable end, whilst I was waiting to plug it back in. Oh, and I'm touching the case. You can see how that's really quite sensitive. So here, it's controlling the wave shaping. So when it's using the attenuverter, it closes it down and opens it back up. So I've primarily got it sort of set to roughly as a positive signal when I want it to be so. Otherwise, if I don't really want it to have much effect, I turn it into the negative side, because this is a unipolar value. The negative value is enough just to stop any signal kind of creeping through. So that's what we have there. So that's how these three things sort of function together. Channel 3, I take the output from Piques here. So that comes through channel 3, and again that comes out in its from its own channel and goes into the FM, so the linear FM. And I've got the attenuverter. So that's it when it's negative. This is it when it's positive. So you can hear it goes up and then runs back down, whereas the opposite side, it goes down, runs up. So it does the inverted version. So this controls level, and this pot, the FM pot on the Tiptop Buchla, essentially controls the maximum amount of signal that will be doing the FM. So it needn't be that much. So that's quite low. In fact, there's nothing there now. You get a little kick. So you could have it quite high and then control it with the attenuverter over here. Obviously, the effect that I have at the moment with the envelopes, so that's a short envelope, medium, slow attack, and lots of variations in between. Slowish attack, not too slow, but with a long release. So a quicker rise up, and then a much slower sort of travel back down. So that has an effect when used with the delay. You can hear that cycling around with the delay. Now what I also have is the output of Oscillator 2, and that's going into the CV input. So frequency modulating the frequency input, or the CV input. And that's kind of the idea behind that one. So you've got a combination of the filter, and delay, and the DVCA. The first CV input here for the EF1 is being modulated via the channel 4, channel 4's output here. So if I put channel 4 into cycle, you can hear the effect there. So that's going into channel 1. And again, because it's on the attenuverter, it means that you can sort of change the signal effect from a positive effect to a negative one. So this is the negative version, so you can hear the filter closing down. Whereas if we put it the other way, the filter opens up. You have to be careful when you use the, well, certainly for me with the send and returns, is that it can go, the EFI is quite distorting in a nice way, and can result in a lot of feedback when you're using the send and returns with the Chronoblob. So that's what we have there. So if I want to treat this more as a unipolar source, then I just use the attenuverter just in its positive side. So you can hear there. Now obviously, because I put it into cycle mode, it's also controlling the delay sync. Right? That's on a much shorter. So this is changing. So even if I have nothing on the filter, the delay is still being affected by the pulse output. Now what I also have is that channel 1's output, the purple cable here, is going into CV2. So if I put channel 1 into cycle mode, we can hear it. So this one isn't on the attenuator, so this is the unity gain output, or the signals at unity level. So now you can hear the effect of that one. So now if I put the other one into cycle as well, in fact, let me take it out of cycle because it's being triggered. So here we go. So channel 1 is in cycle, channel 1 is triggering channel 4 is opening or closing the filter here. But then it is also doing the synchronization for the Chronoblob. And then finally, with this last cable, the unity gain output of channel 4 controls the VCA for the oscillator, oscillator output that isn't going to the filter. I'm going to bring channel 4's signal output. So you can hear there's quite a lot of interaction within this, which of course, if we take the cycle off, we're kind of left with something of a drone. But really, the idea is to use the touch plates and try, wherever possible, it's an interesting one, joining with the thumbs in the middle. So this channel 1 is doing the wave shaping, so you can hear the way that that increases on the side for the oscillator that doesn't have the filter. Whereas the filter, I've got in a more negative coming out of channel 4. Let me open it up a bit more here. So a quick attack or rise, slow fall, just a little bit more shaping. Okay, so as you can probably hear, you can have quite a lot of fun sort of exploring the idea of using touch plates. So I think you can generate quite a few really interesting sounds that are not necessarily products of having used a particular type of oscillator or a particular type of filter or even delay, and not necessarily through a particular type of recurring sort of event-based modulation source that's cycling around. That something can come about through the distribution of these and their interaction. And of course, depending on which digits are being used, it might effects may well vary. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed that, and see you next time. Bye for now.